A day in Paris, 1793. The Reign of Terror. You wake in Paris on a morning in September 1793. The city is not the Paris of romance and revolution that existed just years ago. That Paris is dead. What exists now is something far more terrifying. A society eating itself alive. You have one day to understand why thousands are dying not from war or disease, but from systematic state execution. Why your neighbor might turn you in. Why trust has become a death sentence. The first thing you notice is the silence. Paris is a city of 400,000 people, yet it feels empty. The streets are eerily quiet. People move quickly, heads down, avoiding eye contact. No one speaks above a whisper. No one lingers. This silence is the sound of fear. You step outside into the gray morning. The streets are wet from rain. The gutters run with water. And you try not to think about what else might be in those gutters. The smell is different from other cities. It is not the smell of poverty or industrial filth. It is the smell of something fundamental breaking down. Blood, yes, but also something else. The smell of mass death, of bodies processed too quickly, of a city that has become a machine. The date is significant. The Reign of Terror, the period where the French revolutionary government systematically eliminated perceived enemies, is reaching its peak. Robespierre and the Committee of Public Safety have seized absolute power. They have defined enemies of the state so broadly that the category includes almost anyone. Aristocrats, yes, but also moderates. Clergy, anyone who questions the government, anyone who fails to show sufficient enthusiasm for the revolution, anyone with money, anyone whose neighbor holds a grudge. You pass a wall covered with notices. These are the names of the condemned, dozens of them. The guillotine, the machine of humane execution, operates every day now. Sometimes, multiple times daily. The numbers are staggering. In Paris alone, thousands will die before this terror ends. Across France, tens of thousands. Men, women, children, the young, the old, the innocent alongside the guilty, with little distinction made between the two. But the killings are not random. They are systematic. They are bureaucratic. This is perhaps the most chilling aspect. There are laws about who must be executed. There are trials, though these trials are farces. The accused has limited access to evidence. The prosecution has unlimited access to denunciations and accusations. The verdict is decided before the trial begins. The trial is merely a formality, a way of creating the appearance of justice while delivering certainty of death. You walk through the Marais district, once home to wealthy families and aristocrats. Many of their homes have been seized. Some are now used as prisons. Others sit abandoned, their owners dead or fled. You see a house with marks on the wall, crude drawings of guillotines, messages left by revolutionaries. This is what victory looks like. An old woman passes you. Her eyes are hollow. You wonder what she has witnessed. How many family members has she lost? The average family in Paris has lost someone, maybe multiple people. Your own family, whoever they are in this scenario, has lost someone. An aunt, a cousin, a friend. Maybe you yourself have denounced someone to survive. This is the choice the government has engineered. Collaborate in others' deaths or face your own. The concept of the terror is rooted in ideology, but it functions through psychology. The government has created a system where denunciation is rewarded. If you accuse someone of being an enemy of the state, you might save yourself. Your accusation will be taken seriously. The person you accuse will be arrested. They will be tried. They will almost certainly be convicted, and you will be left alive, at least for now. This system creates paranoia. You cannot trust anyone. Your spouse might denounce you to save themselves. Your children might be coached to repeat overheard comments. Your servants might report what they hear in your home. Even silence is suspicious if you do not enthusiastically support the government. Your lack of enthusiasm will be noted. If you mourn the death of someone executed, your mourning will be reported. If you question any aspect of the revolution, your question will be interpreted as counter-revolutionary sentiment. You approach the Place de la Révolution, now called Place de la Concorde. This is where the guillotine operates. The machine itself is surprisingly small. It is portable. It can be moved from location to location, but its output is enormous. Today is an execution day. You can tell because of the crowds. Thousands gather to witness the deaths. Some come out of genuine revolutionary enthusiasm. Some come because attendance is expected. Some come because it is safer to be seen supporting the terror than to be suspected of opposing it. The condemned are brought in carts. They are bound. Some are calm. Some are terrified. Some have been tortured already. You see a woman. Perhaps she was a teacher or a clerk or a merchant's wife. Her crime is listed as counter-revolutionary sentiment. What this means exactly, no one knows. But the sentence is death. She is placed on the machine. The knife falls. It is remarkably quick, perhaps 10 seconds from binding to death. The crowd reacts. Some cheer, some are silent. Everyone watches. This is the point. Everyone must see what happens to enemies of the state. The body is removed. The next condemned is brought forward. This might happen a dozen times today, or more. The machine is efficient. The government has turned execution into an assembly line. There's a rhythm to it, a terrible, mechanical rhythm. You leave the square, unable to watch anymore. Your stomach turns. You tell yourself you are merely an observer, but even observers are at risk. If someone notices you looking sympathetic toward the condemned, you could be reported. If someone overhears you expressing doubt, you could be arrested. You must control your face. You must control your emotions. You must appear appropriately supportive of the revolution. As midday approaches, you find yourself in a market. Food is scarce. The revolution promised abundance. The common people would have plenty once the aristocracy's hoarding was ended. Instead, there is less food than before. Prices are astronomical. A loaf of bread costs more than it used to. Meat is almost impossible to find. The poor, who the revolution was supposed to benefit, are hungrier than ever. You see children playing, but their games are disturbing. They mime the guillotine. They make chopping motions. They play at being executioners and executed. This is what childhood has become. The normalization of mass death. The absorption of terror into daily life. A man approaches you. His face is cautious. He asks a simple question, something innocent about the weather or the time. But his eyes are searching. He is trying to determine if you are safe to talk to, if you are an informant, if you are someone he can trust. You answer carefully, non-committally. He nods and walks away. This is how conversation happens now. Everyone is suspicious. Everyone is afraid. The afternoon brings different horrors. You learn that a notable figure, a general or a politician or a wealthy merchant, has been arrested. The news spreads quickly through whispers and hushed conversations. This person was thought to be safe. They held positions in the government. They were revolutionary. But now they are accused of insufficient loyalty, of harboring secret counter-revolutionary thoughts. They will be tried. They will be convicted. They will be executed. This person has family. Their family is now under suspicion. Simply being related to someone accused of counter-revolutionary sentiment makes you suspect. Guilt by association has become the law of the land. Children are arrested for their parents' supposed crimes. Parents are arrested for their children's alleged statements. You pass a prison. These are overflowing. Thousands of people are waiting trial. Most know they will be convicted. The trials are not about determining guilt or innocence. They are about processing people through the system, moving them from arrest to conviction to execution as efficiently as possible. The atmosphere inside the prison is one of absolute despair. People are crowded into cells. They are not fed adequately. They are not allowed to communicate with the outside. They exist in a kind of suspended animation, waiting for the trial that will end with their death. As evening approaches, you find yourself in a cafe. It is nearly empty. People do not linger in public spaces anymore. The longer you are visible, the greater the chance you will be noticed, reported, arrested. Conversations are minimal. People drink their coffee, if coffee can be found, and leave. A woman sits near you. She is well dressed, suggesting she once had money, but her clothing is worn now. She has the look of someone who has been hiding. Perhaps her family has already been arrested. Perhaps she is hiding from denunciation. Perhaps she is planning to flee Paris. Perhaps she is an informant, testing whether you will say something incriminating. You say nothing. You keep your thoughts completely internal. This has become the only safe strategy. To think nothing, to feel nothing, to simply exist as a neutral automaton moving through the city. Night falls. The streets become even emptier. The curfew is not officially enforced, but people are afraid to be out. The darkness could be dangerous. A revolutionary mob might encounter you. An informant might report you. The night in Paris, 1793, is a time of maximum danger. You hear screams in the distance. Somewhere, people are being arrested. Somewhere, someone is being executed. Somewhere, someone is being tortured to extract confession or denunciation. The night is full of sounds that people try not to hear. You return to your dwelling. Your room is small and cold. The heating is inadequate because resources are devoted to the war effort and the machinery of the terror. You lie down. Sleep does not come easily. You listen to the sounds of the city. You wonder if tomorrow will be better or worse. You wonder if you will be alive this time next week. The underlying cause of the terror is ideological, but it functions through dehumanization. The government has defined enemies so broadly that almost anyone can be labeled an enemy. Once labeled, you are stripped of humanity. You are no longer a person with rights. You are a threat to be eliminated. The machinery of state has been turned against its own people. The fear has become so complete that it is self-perpetuating. People denounce others not out of conviction, but out of pure survival instinct. Kill or be killed has become the implicit rule. Accuse or be accused. The government has engineered a system where the people themselves become instruments of terror against each other. This is why thousands are dying. Not because the government is hunting them down, though it is, but because they are hunting each other. The terror has turned society into a place where every human relationship is poisoned by suspicion and fear. As you lie in the darkness, you contemplate survival. How long can you remain unnoticed? How long before someone reports you? How long before an accusation, true or false, ends your life? In Paris in 1793, survival is not guaranteed. It is fragile. It is temporary. It depends on factors completely outside your control. And you understand finally that the reign of terror is not about eliminating actual enemies. It is about creating total control through fear, about breaking down the bonds of trust in community, about making people so terrified that they will do anything, including betray those they love, to stay alive. This is what a society looks like when government becomes an instrument of mass terror. This is what happens when ideology overrides law, when fear becomes the currency of control. You survive the night. But survival in Paris 1793 is not victory. It is merely continuation of suffering. Tomorrow will bring the same dangers, the same fear, the same uncertainty, the same machinery of death grinding forward, consuming thousands, destroying a nation from within. The day is over, but the terror continues. It will continue until the system collapses under its own weight, until people finally break their chains, until the fear finally becomes so complete that it transforms into something else. Resistance, rebellion, the determination to fight back. But for now, you rest. And tomorrow, you will wake in a city that has become a machine designed to destroy itself. What would you do? Experience more historical moments through Past Eye POV. Subscribe and let us know in the comments.